All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Monday. I hope everybody had a great weekend away from the charts. Let me get this set up. Good morning. Happy Monday. This is 4th of July week, right? It's weekend. 4th of July weekend. So we got a week of probably low volume, decent volatility. All right, let's hop on to the 4 hour. Let's take a look at higher time frames. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. It looks like we had that news, the Canada news, the unfortunate Canada news that got me out of a long position, but news didn't really hold. It bounced and it went right back into this channel, right? This was the channel we were watching last week. As you can see, we flushed down, we tested the bottom. That was the Canada news, and we flushed right back up. Canada news was just more of a knee-jerk reaction. For those of you that were tuned in on Friday, it caught me with my pants down and no stop. So I had to take a pretty significant loss here. Ended the stream, and of course, at that point, you're in tilt. And I ended up removing my manual max loss limit on Rhythmic and entered on the bounce down here, closed up here, and came pretty close to recovering. So got lucky there on that Canada news. But again, Canada news didn't really hold. It was more of a knee-jerk reaction. The learning lesson there is, number one, have a stop. Number two, probably take the loss a lot sooner. I didn't have to take, in hindsight, I looked at it afterwards, I didn't really have to take the whole daily loss limit or the max loss limit that I have on Rhythmic set, manual max loss limit. I could have taken, what, $700, $800 loss pretty quickly or right as the news dropped. Then waited for that bounce that I recovered and probably would have ended up in the green or significant green versus a scratch or a break even. So, hey, every day's a learning lesson. You adjust, can't let it get to your head, and move on. So fortunately there, like I said, was able to capture some green to come back to pretty close to break even. All right, so what do we have today? We got overnight high. We tested that 915 level. Like I said, we went right back into. If you look at this channel, it was really just continuation from the Friday session. In other words, Canada really was more of a knee jerk, and it's played out, continuing the overall bulls are in control trend. As far as the gap up and gap down, we do have Friday's close down here. So I'd like to see, what the bulls are going to do in terms of pushing above the overnight high, holding above overnight high, potentially take a short somewhere in that 950 area. It all depends on the push. But we do have some levels, right? What we know with the gap fills from last week, they have not been as clean. So if we take a laddered approach back down to either previous day high or that overnight low, last week it wasn't really clean throughout the week. So we'll have to manage that, or just wait and play for the gap fill reversal or the bounce. We've also haven't hit the levels in terms of complete gap fills, which has made it a little tricky, missing some of those bounces last week. You guys saw me miss a couple of those bounces, waiting for a level, and it didn't happen. Hey, it's part of the game. So good morning to everyone. Happy Monday. Let's see if we can get some green today. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I just relaxed. I spent time with the family, watched some Netflix, some errands here in the house, and back to another week, 4th of July week. So I expect it to be pretty dead. Wall Street's definitely on vacation. So we'll see what we get. So those are kind of the paths or the ideas. What are we going to do up here with that overnight high? We have this channel that's been playing out in the 1 hour, where we have the overall 4 hour, the wider channel that's been playing out since last week. We've had that gap fill a couple of times last week, not as clean, right? It's a choppy descending channel gap fill, so be aware of that. And then we haven't gotten the full gap fill, which makes it a little trickier to enter on the bounce, but every bounce is played, and those plays have been pretty profitable, which I have missed. If you're new to the stream, do me a favor, smash that like, smash that subscribe button. More importantly, hit that notification bell so that you get notified when I post content. Got 9 minutes to the open. Do we have news? Let's see what we got in terms of news. Chicago PMI, Chicago Business Barometer PMI at 945. I'll set an alarm. It doesn't seem like it's market moving, but nonetheless, it is news. And that's pretty much all we've got for today. 4th of July week. And this weekend, 4th of July, so I expect it to be pretty dead, especially on a Monday. But with low volume, you also have all these volume imbalances, higher volatility. Let's see, settings, what do we got here? In terms of transparency and where I'm at, I opened 2 Funded Futures Network accounts last week to start the live stream. Those are the accounts that I'm going to use to, at least for the live stream, I'd like to go through blowing it or passing it, and then getting to payout if I do pass it or blow out. But as far as the live stream, last week was the first full week live streaming. Let me show you the accounts web right here. We go. All right, this is my Funded Futures accounts that I opened for this live stream. I'm going to use these as kind of like my gauge, my personal challenge for this live stream. Who knows? Maybe we pass, maybe we blow it. But this has been the progress so far. These are the trades that you guys kind of seen. The interesting part is when I take one trade, in other words, win, loss, and the volume. Volume is how many contracts. Usually if I stick to 1 trade a day or 2 trades a day, I have a better day. When I have, these recovery days where I probably took some trades, 1 loss, and tried to recover and called it at break even, 270. This was actually 1 trade. I accidentally set a TP of 1 tick. So it closed it pretty quickly. I had to re-enter, but that was 1 trade, 45 points. And then we know what happened on Friday. For those of you that tuned in on Friday, I took about a $2,000 loss per account live. Then, I realized, all right, let me just call it a day, which I didn't. I went back, removed the max loss limit on most of my accounts, and played the bounce and, got some green there, or almost got back to break even. Let me show the other account, but I don't want to show account numbers, so hold on for 1 second. We got 5 minutes. We got time for this. And again, I'm using these accounts as kind of the my overall transparency with the live stream. Here we go. Just a little bit. Okay. This is the second account. Same numbers. For some reason, I think there was either slippage on that loss, a bigger loss on this one on Friday, and didn't completely recover. But yeah, this was, for those of you that tuned in on Friday, this was recovering from a 2K plus loss per account. So this is going to be, again, the account, the master account that I use to trade. It's going to be what I copy trade from into Apex and everything else. Also, with that Friday drawdown that I took, I probably complicated things for my Apex payout because of the 30% per trade drawdown. So we'll see. With Apex, not only do you have a 30% consistency rule, but you can't have a trade with the loss higher than 30% of your drawdown. I think my drawdown on that account was 7 or 8. I haven't even looked, but I'm assuming I probably hurt my, what's it called? Payout, which I'll request. I think I'm a day or two away from it. But knowing that I could get a denial, and it's no big deal. They don't take away your profits. You just have to do another 8-day trading cycle to get that payout. All right, so that's the transparency side. Again, I'm using these accounts. Well, this is going to be the journey. Last week was the first full week that I traded live and showed up. So it's the beginning of this journey. We'll see where it goes with these accounts. I could pass, I could blow them, but I'm going to keep it transparent. All right, so we got a 15-minute opening range. Let's get some timers in. Okay, here we go. Got a little timer for that 15-minute opening range, and we got the open in 3 minutes. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Hope everyone has a green day, green week. It's 4th of July week, so let's see what this week brings us. All right, here we go. On the 1 minute. SR, good morning. Good morning to everyone. Welcome to the stream. All right, 2 minutes. 2 minutes to the open. So let's see if the bears push this down a little bit at the open, potentially hitting that previous day high level, potential bounce there, or if they want further downside, right, how far are they going to take it? "20 seconds and the casino opens." All right, casino's now open. Let's see, again, that gap fill. See how far they take this down. Gaps love to get filled. All right, so an initial push to that 850 area. The bottom of that overnight range that we were talking about earlier. Here we go. Bounce right back up. So we touched that pivot point and bounced about 20 points. Initial resistance here at the moving averages. You got your 9 and your 20 there. Let's see if we get another test down here or another push. Okay, that pushed down a little weaker. Trying to break below that pivot point. See if we get that test the previous day high and bulls take it from there, or if we take another leg to the downside. All right, now they're breaking below the pivot point, below VWAP. How low will she go? Okay, we're approaching that previous day high area. Let's see if we got further downside here, potential bounce. Okay, I'm going to start looking at potential bounce pretty soon. Playing a bounce on that previous day high. We could take a little further downside, then I'll probably just give it 20 points for a drawdown. So in terms of a stop, stop around here. And if we do get the bounce, I'll probably play it for 8. No, no bounce yet. So it looks like they want to take this one more level down, which is fine. Then I'll be patient. I'll let the stop hit, and then we'll watch for further downside. Now the question is how much further they want to take this below this level. Next level would probably have to wait at least to 750 if they take this further down. Gonna move my stop a little. No, actually just keep it there. They can't bounce it here, they can't bounce it, it's no big deal. All right, there goes the next leg down. Still unable to take a bounce here. Okay, there's the stop. So let's see how further up. And then we'll attempt another long, or just let her go as far down as she wants. If I do see the bounce, then I have no problem re-entering at this level. Maybe my stop was a little too tight. Attempt another long at this level. Looks like my stop was probably a tick too tight, but I'd like to see some force above that 9 EMA. In other words, confirming the bounce. If we get rejected here, then not interested. All right, it looks like we're getting resistance there. A little bit of resistance. In terms of stop, use this level. Oops. All right, so I'm seeing resistance at the 9. I'm not liking that. Let it breathe for a little longer, but it needs to push up with force. Go. Not really. Okay. Next resistance area, if we, oh, not really, we didn't get out of there. So if we do get a pullback, but then, in other words, the 9 becomes resistance, then, you know, we'll have further downside. If we are able to push out of this, which we're not, 850 is the next area. At this point, I will trail the stop. Move it. In other words, I don't want to take a loss at this point. I'm playing a quick bounce. These should be very quick, in and out. 850 is the next resistance. If we even get there. Actually, we touched 847. If we take the pullback there, then there's further downside to this. There's no reason for me to risk, you know, let the stop hit, and then we'll try it again. Okay, so we get, I think we got break even there now. Let's see. All right, so now we're in a descending channel. We tested the top of that, and we were not able to break out. See how low she'll go here. Okay. So at this point, I'm about break even with 2 attempted longs at this level, and still kind of stuck down there. I'm watching for this descending channel. I have it on another chart, but basically we came to the top of this descending channel, and let's see if we pop out. If I see it pop out, I'll attempt another long. I'd prefer another pullback. Maybe a test of that 800 level. Okay, here's that alarm for 15-minute opening range. Now we're in the middle of that 15-minute opening range, and we're 4 minutes from 6:45, or 6:45 for me, 9:45 Eastern. Manny M, good morning. So far, just one 20, 30-point move, and then we're stuck in this little consolidation, either trying to use this level as the breakout level or further downside. It looks like we're trying to break out of that channel. I'd like a pullback somewhere to that 800 area, and I'll probably attempt a final long. But let's see if we get a stronger pullback or a push. So far, about break even with 2 attempts on a long at this level, but I'm keeping it tight just because of the volatility. All right, we're breaking out of that zone there. See if we get one more flush, which would make my entry a little easier. If we pick up the bounce here, then it just makes my entry a little more tricky, or risky rather. But let's see if we can get a further flush to the downside. All right, there it goes. Can we hit that 790, 780 level? Okay. Tried to push below this current low, and looks like it's teasing me. It's making me think this area is the bounce area, but it's not giving it easy. Got a couple of attempts to flush below, but let's see if there's further downside before I commit to a long. We can get a 780, 790 touch. But it's not wanting to push below previous day high just yet, at least significantly. All right, there comes a bounce right there. So it looks like this level is holding for now, which is tricking me into getting into another long. We are at the top of this descending channel. So if this is the breakout area, we'll see it pretty quickly and then I can hop on, but I'd like a further pullback. Further pullback gives me less drawdown. All right, 15-minute opening range. We're attempting to push back up. NASDAQ going nowhere at this level. Can you give us one more flush? See if we take a nice little flush here to that 790, 780 level. Then I can attempt another long, but it'll be a scalp at the most. If we're technically in a descending channel, so this may want further downside. So I'm playing the break out of that downside first, and then I'll have to accept that there's more downside and try to see if I can short it. Man, it's holding at this level with that other JC. Good morning, brother. All right, so here goes the next wave to the downside. Let's see if we can catch something around 780, 770. Possibly that test of the overnight low. And the gap fill down here hasn't given us full gap fill, so watch this be the day that it does. Still, we tried to push below this wick and bounce right back up, but we are in this descending channel. Going up and down, but pushing down. All right, will this be the next leg to the downside? And at that point, you got a couple levels down there. You got the overnight low. You got, yes, Friday's close. So probably pushing for complete gap fill. Slowly, but trying to get there. Okay, there's the next push. So right now I'm about break even with 2 attempted longs. This one we got stopped out. This one we took a little bit of profit. I didn't like the push up. Liam Carter, good morning. Looks like we got some more downside to this, so let's see what happens at the next level, which is that 760 area. Okay, that's a good wick. It respected the top of that channel, right? We're talking about this descending channel. It's respecting that top and continuing to push down. So let's just let it ride. Let's let it do its thing and see if we have a bounce area around that 760 area. If it takes us there. If not, then we know this original level holds and we can push up. Still got options. Still not a significant push down yet. It's hovering over the top of this descending channel. See if we can get a flush and then to break out of that. All right, we're attempting to break out of that descending channel now. So let's see if the original level holds as the breakout area. And try not to fall into a long trap. Ah, there it is, pushing back right back down. It's not giving up 800. Now we're seeing the first attempt to break out of this descending channel. Got some tricky part of this is not getting caught in breakout. Okay, so the original level that I was trying to build along looks like it's holding. See what happens here. We can take a sharper pullback. If not, then this was just the consolidation zone and potential bounce building. But I don't want to get caught on a trap, a long trap. All right, trying to come back and test the top of that descending channel. That's a good bounce, it's a good hold. Tricky part is the trap here. Okay, I'm going to participate. Let's see if I don't get trapped. Playing the breakout of that descending channel, watching for the trap. In other words, no breakout above those moving averages, and we take it back down. In terms of stop, I'll leave it down here for now so I can adjust. Not convincing. I'll let it breathe a little bit, but I think if I'm playing a breakout, I'm truly playing the breakout. I can't give it too many points in terms of drawdown, then only give it that much. It's either a breakout or a fake out, and we'll know pretty quickly. So looks like it's a fake out, and I'm not willing to gamble too much on that fake out. Okay, so doesn't work for now. And tricky. Okay, so it looks like the fake out played out. Kept the stop pretty tight on that, and let's see if we get further pullback. If the breakout does happen, I still have time to participate. All right, watching these levels. These levels are now the breakout levels, so I may attempt another one. But it's trappy. All right, last attempt on this breakout. Problem with my stop is I have to keep it down here again. Okay. If that's just a pop out and a trap again, and it'll just pull right back in, so it's still not a confirmed. Yeah. Looks like there's more downside to this. I think that's the trap. At this point, with this consolidation that it's built, it should have a stronger bounce, but it's just not giving it to me. All right, I do have to, if we do pop out, then the next resistance zone is 850. It's still unconvincing as a break. It's still looking very trappy. Breakouts are breakouts, right? You're looking for momentum, stronger pushes. I get it, it's Monday, it's 4th of July week. This could be momentum, but we still got to break above this level, and it's not convincing. Push the stop up a little bit. Nope. Another trap. All right, so it's starting to build a descending channel. I'm sorry, ascending channel, which will go up and down, and that's going to be annoying. But I also have to be aware that my stop cannot be within that channel. All right, so I'm watching for breaks below. It's going to continue and do that. Okay, I can entertain that. But if it breaks out of that, then I'll have to clip it. It's not convincing. It's got to respect the bottom of that. Getting tighter and tighter. And unable. Bummer. Unable to push up. And if we come back all the way down, I'll get stopped out again, and it's too choppy. I'll have to give myself a break. We're just not getting continuation, at least in the direction that I'm looking for. And looks like we have another leg to the downside here. I'll get stopped out again. So about now it's broken out of that descending channel, which is Not good for the pump. If that's just a stop hunt run, then I might get lucky, or we might get this push up, but it needs to push. So it came and tested the 20, and at least we saw initial bounce, but it's still unable to get back into that channel. Very choppy. All right, so now that channel has failed, and it looks like we have another leg to the downside here. And I'll get stopped out. Okay. And I think we just got to take a little break. I'm about 20 points in the red, so nothing significant, but I got to wait for this whole chop fest to just resolve itself. It's nasty. Morning, Peter. And of course, it came down and stopped me out, and then the break plays out. Oh man, it's the chop. So it looks like I may have to play a wider stop if I'm gonna have to. I mean, if I want to attempt this one more time, wider stop. Let's see if we get something, a pullback, a bounce, something out of that chop zone. So far, been stuck in this chop. We're about 20, 23, 24 points in drawdown. Insignificant yet, but with this chop, I may have to just calm down a little bit and see if we get some type of cleaner price action, or get into dirty scalping mode. Now the play that I wanted, or the breakout that I was looking for, playing out, which is a little unfortunate, but I gotta let it go at this point and wait for the next setup. Right now it's hitting VWAP, 850 level that I was initially targeting it. Oof, that burns. All right, let's see if there's any pullback to this. Otherwise, got a little unlucky on the timing of this breakout, and it happens. Let it go and see if we can get another setup. Today I can only stream for about 2 hours. Not that I need to rush another trade, but so far choppy. Let's see if there's direction to this. In other words, it continues or it does what it does. It's what it's been doing all morning, which is a couple moves up, right back down, or a test. Just hit pivot point and VWAP. Let's see if there's any resistance here to the downside. Okay, so the chop continues. Nasty. Ugh. Nasty chop. All right, so I'm gonna trade. I gotta be aware of this chop. Might be better off playing smaller 5-10 point scalps if I want to get into that. And now we're in this ascending channel. Wider. Nasty chop. Slow grind up, but it's grinding to the upside for sure. Now, if we break out of this ascending channel, how far will she go? Nasty, nasty price action. It's nasty. The chop is real. All right, let's see if this is the test of that 20 and that 20 provides the bounce. In other words, we continue in this ascending channel, just very choppy. And the question is, am I even interested at this point with this chop fest? Oof, ooh, ooh, ooh. Nasty NASDAQ, look at you. What is this? We're getting some chop, some serious chop, right? We went up to 853, down back down to 820. Nasty chop. About 20, 30 point swings on this right now. Pretty nasty chop. For anybody just tuning in, unlucky so far. We attempted a long, got stopped out. Attempted another long, got a couple points, and then a couple more stop outs. So I'm about 23 points in the red in terms of drawdown. And it's been a chop fest, so I'm about 4 trades in with a minimal loss. I think I may have to seriously consider just call it a day. I mean, look at this. Who wants to trade this? So instead of dragging this out and potentially taking a higher loss, I may have to walk. Man, it's a nasty price action. Crappy as hell. Peter Chan shorting at 94. Yeah, I mean, if it breaks out of that range, I could see that. The problem is it's just no continuation. So best you're scalping this. I mean, had I scalped for 10, 20 points, it probably would have been at least in some green. Not that I'm in any significant red, but do I really need to battle this chop? Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you, Peter Chan. The price action lately is scalping. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow and just scalp. Like I said, the loss is not too bad. But had I scalped some of these plays, I'd probably be the same amount in the green versus in the red. Nasty. All right, chop fest. And I think I'm going to take the small loss today. Probably come back in the afternoon, see if we got any better price action. I don't know what to say. Breaking out of that channel, I'm just not. It's not interesting anymore. Wow. NASDAQ going nowhere. Dragging your patience. Just dancing around in his range. Now, morning lemon. Yeah, man, it's there's the breakout. Not interested. I think I'm gonna have to call it. And I don't like the price action. I gotta learn to get the hell out. See if there's finally a continuation to the upside here. Looks like it's finally going to break out of that. Nope. All right, this is my, with this chop fest, this is my cue to get out. We tried it, walked out with a little bit of loss. No reason to push it further with this price action. Tomorrow's another day, and thanks for tuning in. But I'm gonna call it early before I attempt to trade a chop zone any further. Best learn to stick to my rules. Usually I should be done within the first hour. That just means that there was no continuation in my plays, and it happens. keep the losses to a minimum. All right, guys, have a good one. Gonna stick to my guns here. Call it this price action. It's more for scalping, which is usually what I would do in the afternoon. But if I'm truly going to play the first 1 hour, I need direction. And this is where you learn to stick to your rules and your discipline and just walk out. Take care, guys. Have a good one.